The year was 661. Today's story follows a young boy named James. He is currently 7 years old, and he's also a genius. He lives in a small town called Dumville, although the locals call it Dumville, which not only is wrong, but it's also not that much better. James spends his day walking along the beachside, strolling through town, saying hi to the locals, and being a relatively happy person. The older he gets, though, the more and more he realizes that he has a hard time getting along with the locals. None of them can really hold quite the same conversation with him. For instance, the only thing they farm is wheat, and therefore the only thing they eat is bread. And one day, he suggested that why don't we try making like a pastry or something different out of the wheat? To which the locals responded, "We like bread." This sort of thing has been happening to James all of his life, which granted, he's not very old, but it's been happening a long time. This town is just stuck in its ways. No one has any ideas and no one wants to try anything new. And it's a little bit suffocating for him, being a genius in a town full of stupid people who are also ugly. But hey, they're agile. He dreams of the day that he can leave town, explore the world outside, finally leave Dumville behind. Unfortunately, his neighbor villages weren't that much better. He wasn't so sure where he'd want to go, but he'd heard stories that around the mountain range, past the village of mouth breathers and around the fortnight sweats, there was a city called Smartropolis, where everyone was a genius, just like him. He dreamed of the day that he could go there and finally see what good he could do in this world with his staggering intellect and gigantic brain, which I guess is why he's so smart, but you know. Unfortunately for James, his parents didn't see it the same way. They wanted him to join the Boy Scouts, so he did. He learned how to tie knots, and his parents always told him, "Someday you make bread." But he didn't want to make bread. He wanted to do more. He was already 15. All he'd done is watch people make bread and learn how to make bread himself. But he wanted to eat jam. He decided when he turns 18, he's gonna leave town and go explore the world and find somewhere with people more like him. His parents weren't so happy about that though, because who else is gonna help them tie their shoes every day? Oh well, they have a few more years to learn how to do it themselves. James turned 16, then 17, and then his 18th birthday grew closer and closer. He had packed his things, he was ready to go. It was only a matter of time for him. "James, no go," his father said. "Dad, I must unlock my true potential in the big city. I must see what else is out there." "James, come back?" his father asked. "Of course I will. I won't be gone forever. I just gotta see what else is out there." "Okay. Home by 7. No, I'm not gonna be home by 7. I'm gonna be gone for like months, probably years maybe. But I'll call." "Don't know how to use cell phone." James's 18th birthday had finally come. To celebrate, they ate bread. He said his goodbyes and on he went, on to find himself in the big city. He was ecstatic. He couldn't wait. He said goodbye to his friends. "I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to eat 3 meals a day and brush your teeth before you go to bed." "Okay," they said. And off he went, through the village of mouth breathers, through the town of fortnight sweats. He even took the long way around. He was almost there. He was getting so close he could almost taste it. He could practically smell the intelligence on the horizon. He finally made it. Smartropolis. He was finally where he had always wanted to be. He spoke to some of the locals about where he could get something to eat. They said, "There's a pretty good pizza place on the corner. We got Italian food up the street." James was shocked. What is this? Options? Multiple different types of food to eat? He didn't know where to start. Ultimately, he chose to get pizza. And by goodness, was it the best thing he'd ever tasted. Who knew bread could taste so good? He felt emotional. All these wasted years, eating bread plain, when he could have been making pizza. It was only his first day in Smartropolis, and it had already been worth the journey. He loved exploring the city. He was excited to meet some more of the locals. "How you doing? Beautiful day, huh?"
"Well, I suppose it is a nice day, but if you really think about it, just because the sky is blue doesn't mean it's a nice day. You see, a little bit of a cloud cover is actually more healthy for the skin. You see, the gamma rays of the sun are..."
"Okay, bye." Well, that guy was a little bit weird, but that's just one person, you know? "How you doing, buddy?" James said to one of the local children.
"Buddy? I've never even seen you in my life. What makes you think you can call me buddy? I graduated top of my class. Physics, calculus, all of it. How dare you call me buddy? You got pizza sauce on your face, kid. Why don't you run along and go play with rocks or something?"
Even the kids were, you know, a little bit eccentric, but James didn't mind. It was nice to have a different kind of conversation for once. "Hey guys, what you working on?" What does it look like?" "Clearly a tent. We're out here doing research on the local plants and animals." "Oh, cool. Can I join you?" "Please, no. unless you're planning on volunteering as the animals. It was at this moment James realized something. Smart people are kind of jerks. What are you guys doing out here? We're just talking about how we're gonna get over the mountains. The mountains? What do you mean? You know, the mountains. The mountains that are blocking us from expanding. Why don't you go west, idiot? So that's what James did. He found that just west of Smartropolis was a mountain range blocking them off from the rest of the world. A wonderful haven. Pink trees, green grass, and all the spoils of gold and ore that they could ever want. The locals had been trying to find a way through the mountains for a long time. James decided this is how he was going to win the favor of the town, by dealing with their mountain problem. He began working day and night on a project. His idea wasn't to go over the mountains or under the mountains, but to get rid of the mountain entirely. How on earth was he going to accomplish that? Explosives. He began working tirelessly, gathering flammable materials from the terrain, mixing things in a very scientific way that I can't explain because I don't know how it actually works, and placing layers and layers of explosives. His job was finally complete, so he gathered the townsfolk and told them about what he had done. Ladies and gentlemen, I have brought you here today as I have come up with a solution for your mountain problem. I will be clearing a path through the mountain right now before your very eyes. There's no way this is gonna work. You'll hurt yourself, kid. James knew this is what he had to do to earn their respect. Alright, everybody stand back. Frick, James blew up in the explosion. The pathway was finally clear after all these years. The people of Smartropolis were finally able to cross into the haven just over the mountains, all thanks to one very courageous and brave soul named James. The people of Smartropolis finally got to go explore these new lands and expand into unknown territory, all thanks to James and his bravery. Sure, he made a mistake by blowing himself up, but hey, we all make mistakes sometimes. As long as we learn from them, they aren't really mistakes. Smartropolis 2 was founded. The locals began harvesting these pink magical trees, and the crops grew twice as fast in the magical grass. One thing they didn't realize, however, is that this place was absolutely chock full of magical snakes, and the magical snakes were not so happy about their new neighbors. They attacked the new people, and luckily for the smart people, they were able to hold them off. Unfortunately, snakes are poisonous. Luckily, no one died from the snake venom. Unfortunately, no one died from the snake venom because they were killed by crocodiles instead. Magical crocodiles. Perhaps it was fate that James didn't get to live to see this day, where his biggest achievement in life actually cost the lives of a whole village of smart people. I know. How about a happy ending for once? To which I say, no. But if you really want a happy ending, just know that James's parents learned how to use their cell phone and were able to use DoorDash to order pizza. Once they finally tried pizza, they too decided it was time to leave town and search for a better life. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you next time.